Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We begin in the name of Almighty Allah, the most magnificent, the ever merciful. We glorify Him, we praise Him, and of course we do elevate His name as He ought to be elevated. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again I extend to you the eternal and of course the universal salutation of peace. May the peace, blessings and mercies of Almighty Allah be upon you. Well, I want to take the opportunity first up to say a very special thank you going out to Vikash for his previous rendition, and of course the entire 103.1 FM team for their amazing work as always. A most pleasant good evening going out to one and all this beautiful Monday evening. I'm your host and brother in humanity, Imam Ghani, on this the 12th day of fasting here in Trinidad and Tobago during the holy month of Ramadan for the year 2026 according to the Islamic calendar for the year 1447. So we are currently now in the middle 10-day phase of the month of Ramadan as we continue on with this spiritual journey that is indeed the month of Ramadan. Well, the time for the breaking of the fast this evening is 6:19 p.m. and the time to stop eating tomorrow morning is 5:05 a.m. So as we are now coming to the end of another day in the month of Ramadan, the 12th day of fasting here in Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, allow me now to take the opportunity to officially welcome you live on air, live on the internet, live across our social feeds as well for another episode of Iftaar with the Imam 2026. Of course, just as a reminder, you can send me a message via the WhatsApp number 2994103. Alternatively, you can send me a message via the social feeds on Facebook and on YouTube as well. And of course, you can view a live stream of this evening's program and of course of all of our programming throughout the course of the month of Ramadan on my Facebook page. You can go to your Facebook, go to the search bar, type in Ghani. That'll take you to the live stream. Alternatively, you can go to YouTube. Once again, open your search bar, type in Imam Ghani, and those are the two options for our live streaming throughout the course of the month of Ramadan. As always, I must add, it's indeed an absolute honor and of course a personal pleasure to be in your company once again this evening. On the program this evening, I'll be talking about a very important concept. I'll be talking about the importance of constructive criticism. That's our talking point for this evening. I've also got a few beautiful Islamic selections coming your way as well, and I'll be taking you through to the live breaking of the fast right here on 103.1 FM. I also want to take the opportunity as well to say a very special thank you going out to the sponsors. The program this evening is being brought to you through the kind courtesies of Presidential Insurance Company Limited, Chief Brand Products Limited, The Price Club Supermarket, Top Gear Auto Parts and Services, and City Furniture Limited. Well, with that being said, at this point in the program, I want to now urge you to join me in a short opening prayer. All praises are due to Almighty Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Magnificent, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment. O Allah, it is you do we worship, and from you only do we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed your favor, not the path of those who have evoked your anger, nor the path of those who have gone astray. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. Well, at this point in the program, we now get into our short lecture segment. And like I mentioned before, this evening we are talking about a very, very important concept. We are talking about the importance of constructive criticism. So let me start this evening by asking you a particular question. Have you ever been told something about yourself that stung initially, but later on you realize that it helps you to grow and to become a better person? So on that note, this evening we're talking about something that's uncomfortable for many of us, but also incredibly powerful. It's the idea of criticism, the idea of constructive criticism, and how, if you embrace it, you can unlock some of the greatest growth in your life. Criticism, of course, is indeed a bitter pill to swallow. And it's a pill that not everyone can swallow, not everyone can stomach. And handling criticism is quite a sensitive topic, and it will always remain thus. We are all faced with criticism in our lives from time to time. They help us grow, and sometimes it feels like the other person is just displaying his personal hatred towards us in the form of useless criticism. There's a major difference between constructive criticism and negative criticism. Constructive criticism is a very important component for personal growth and development. So when we say constructive criticism, it's not just someone pointing out your flaws or trying to tear you down. Constructive criticism is feedback that's meant to help you improve. It's delivered with the intention of building you up, not breaking you apart. Unlike destructive criticism, which is personal, which is negative, constructive feedback focuses on behaviors, on skills, or outcomes, not on your worth as an individual. Now let's be honest. How do most of us react when we hear criticism? When we are criticized? Immediately we feel defensive, we tend to shut down, we want to justify, and we think that the other person, they don't understand or they are just being too harsh. And this is a natural response to criticism. Our brains are wired to protect our ego, to guard ourselves against threats, and sometimes feedback or criticism feels like a threat, even when it's not. But here's the truth. You can't grow without feedback. You can't grow without criticism. You can't become a better leader, a better artist, a better partner, or a better person without someone holding up a mirror to you to show you what you can't see yourself. So let's reframe criticism for a moment. Criticism is not the enemy. Comfort is. What if, instead of seeing it as an attack, you saw it as a gift, a tool for refinement, a mirror showing you your blind spots, so to speak, and showing you your areas for improvement? So I want to tell you a small story. Once upon a time, a group of kids were trying to get some fruits from a nearby tree by throwing some stones at it. There was a saint who was sitting under the tree at that time, and some of the stones eventually hit him. The saint, of course, became angry and he started cursing. The kids interrupted him and said, "Please forgive us. It happened by mistake." But then, suddenly one of those kids said something really interesting. He said, "Respected saint, a tree, when hit by stones, gives fruits. But you, Mr. Saint, when hit by a stone, you gave a curse. I guess we should call the tree a saint and not you." Hearing this, of course, the saint was in a state of confusion and deep thought, and immediately he realized his mistake. He took on board that criticism, and he vowed never to utter those words again, never to use those languages again. We generally have a defensive attitude towards criticism. But thinking about this story, there should be a different way to handle criticism. I know it can be a difficult thing, but it's not impossible. No matter what you do, there will always be people who will dislike you for absolutely no reason. Then what's the solution? The solution lies in how you respond to criticism. So how do you receive criticism in a way that leads to growth? Well, first of all, when receiving criticism, pause before reacting. Take a deep breath. Don't respond immediately. Don't respond emotionally. Stay calm and listen attentively to what is being said. Number two, assume positive intent. Believe that the person who is there criticizing you genuinely wants to help you. Sometimes the way it comes across to you might seem abrasive, but if you assume positive intent, that will help you to cross that bridge a lot easier. Number three, ask clarifying questions like, can you give me an example? Or what would you like to see me improve in? And so on and so forth. Also, you can reflect and apply. Don't just hear it, but try to use it as well. If someone comes with a certain level of criticism about your performance, about you as an individual, listen attentively, then analyze and ask yourself whether that thing is true or not. If it's true, then make an effort to change it. If it's not true, then you can simply ignore. And finally, you can thank the giver, because it takes courage sometimes to give honest feedback. And that is something that you should appreciate. Receiving feedback is just the first step. The real courage lies in taking action. When you receive constructive criticism, you now have a choice. You can either ignore it, or you can use it as a catalyst for change. You can take that feedback and you can turn it into a plan, a strategy for improvement, or if you ignore it, then it gets swept under the carpet and you don't improve your life as an individual. The second thing you need to understand is, how do you offer constructive criticism? One is being on the receiving end, but one is being on the other end where you are offering constructive criticism. Of course, offering constructive criticism requires a certain level of sensitivity and care, especially during the month of Ramadan when emotions might be heightened. First of all, if you are going to extend constructive criticism to another person, be very mindful of your timing. Choose an appropriate moment to give your feedback. Avoid discussing sensitive issues during the month of Ramadan when tensions might be running high. Also, try to use I statements. Frame your feedback in a way that reflects your perspective. For example, you can say that I noticed that so and so, instead of saying that you are always doing so and so. Instead of casting blame, swing the discussion, bringing forth your perspective. Also, emphasize on improvement. Instead of just pointing out flaws, instead of just pointing out mistakes, encourage the person to think about ways that they can improve and offer them some solutions as well. It's also very important that you practice empathy, understand the emotional context for others. Sometimes the month of Ramadan can be a time of stress and deep feelings. Approach discussions with kindness and be very mindful of context and be very mindful of the tone of your voice as well. And finally, follow up. After offering feedback, you can always check in with the individual to see how they are doing and if they need further support. So there are two sides of a fence here. One is receiving constructive criticism and the other is giving constructive criticism. Both can be a tool for improvement if it is done correctly. Constructive criticism is not about tearing you down, rather it's about building you up. It's about helping you to identify your blind spots, helping you to identify areas where you can improve and strategies to get you where you need to be. When you receive constructive criticism, you are literally given a gift, the chance to see yourself through someone else's eyes, and that can be an incredibly powerful tool. So here's the big idea I want you to walk away with. Growth lives outside of your comfort zone, and constructive criticism is indeed the bridge that gets you there. So the next time someone gives you criticism, don't even flinch. Stay calm. Listen to what is being said. Say thank you. Analyze the situation and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Because every piece of feedback, no matter how small, is indeed an opportunity to become the best version of yourself. So in conclusion, constructive criticism is indeed a valuable tool for personal and communal growth during this holy month of Ramadan. Whether giving or receiving, the goal is to uplift one another. The goal is to foster an environment of mutual understanding and of mutual respect. And as we engage in our practices throughout the course of the month of Ramadan, let's commit to applying the principles of constructive criticism in our interactions, in our lives, and let's make this month not just about fasting, but about enriching our relationships and growing our faith in the sight of the Almighty. Because in a nutshell, that really and truly is what the month of Ramadan is all about. It's about growing as an individual, and it's about using every tool afforded to you throughout the course of the month of Ramadan to bring yourself closer to the Almighty and inevitably to become a better person upon the face of the earth. Well, at this point on the program, I want to now share with you a beautiful Islamic rendition. Of course, while this rendition is being played, you can, of course, take the opportunity to prepare yourselves for the breaking of the fast. You can keep your dates and water close by. Immediately after this rendition, we'll be coming right back with the live breaking of the fast right here on 103.1 FM.
A message from the sky, a mercy for mankind. If you lose your way, we'll always be your guide. Far greater than this world, moved mountains with its words. Fixed every part of me and put my heart at ease. And Allah knows words heal the soul. Most beautiful of miracles. The more you read, the more you feel Allah's love with every beat. Al-Quran, Nurun wa Bayan. Al-Quran, Hadiyul Iman. القرآن مسك الختام. يا قرآن عليك سلام. كلام يهدي الروح شفاء للصدور. آياته جمال تحلو به الحياة. قلبي يشتاق إليه نور بين يدي. رفيق في الحياة طريقي للجنة. علم يقين هدي مبين. يجلو الأحزان يحيي الإنسان. شوق وشجون دمع وحنين متمازج. يقرأ القرآن. القرآن نور وبيان. القرآن هدي الإيمان. القرآن مسك الختام. يا قرآن عليك سلام. اللهم اجعل القرآن العظيم ربيع قلوبنا ونور صدورنا وجلاء همومنا وهدينا في الدنيا والآخرة. القرآن نور وبيان. القرآن هدي الإيمان. القرآن مسك الختام. يا قرآن عليك سلام.
Well, the time now in Trinidad and Tobago is 6:19 p.m. It's now time for the live breaking of the fast right here on 103.1 FM. The breaking of the fast is being brought to you this evening through the kind courtesies of Presidential Insurance Company Limited, Chief Brand Products Limited, the Price Club Supermarket, Top Gear Auto Parts and Services, and City Furniture Limited. And once again, now that we have come to the end of another day of fasting, we have now come to the end of the 12th day of fasting during the month of Ramadan for this year 2026. Once again, we break our fast with the very special prayer, and that prayer is ذهب الظمأ وبطلت العروق وثبت الأجر إن شاء الله تعالى. اللهم لك صمت وعلى رزقك أفطرت. That the thirst is now gone, the veins are now moistened, and the reward will be guaranteed from Allah if Allah wills. O Allah, for you I have fasted this day. And O Allah, I break the fast with the sustenance you have provided for me. And of course, we pray most earnestly that Almighty Allah accepts our efforts throughout the course of this day. May Allah make it possible that we can gain our due reward in this life as well as in the life of the hereafter. And may Almighty Allah continue to grant us the health, the strength, and the forbearance that we can continue to forge on through this month of Ramadan in a very, very positive manner indeed.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة
Dua after adhan. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وبعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. O Allah, Lord of this perfect call and this prayer to be established, grant Muhammad al-Wasila a high and special place in Jannah, and al-Fadila a rank above the rest of creation, and raise him to a praise platform which you have promised him.
Presidential Insurance Company specializes in all classes of motor insurance. Presidential are also experts in fire and marine insurance and workmen's compensation. For total insurance coverage, think Presidential. Call or visit Presidential's main office at 54 Richmond Street, Port of Spain. Telephone 625-4788 or 625-4769. You may also visit any of their branches at Chaguanas, Couva, Curep, Point Fortin, Princestown, Pinal, Sangre Grande or San Fernando. Think insurance. Think big. Think Presidential now.
For the best results, even professional bakers depend on the right baking powder, and so should you. Use Chief baking powder and add fluffy perfection to your bread, pastries and cakes. Make your roti, bara and pilari soft and light, and homemade bake that's nice and tender. And don't forget, Chief baking powder comes from a tradition of quality that the Chief brand is famous for.
Chief baking powder, the rise to perfection.
At the Price Club, they're always committed to excellence. They provide well-stocked lanes with grocery, gift and religious items, a vegetable and meat section, car care and household department, and a home and garden section. Their wide, spacious aisles provide you with an extremely convenient and comfortable shopping experience. And their friendly staff is always willing to assist you. Ample and secured on-site parking is available. The Price Club Supermarket, the low price leader, Ramsaran Street, Chaguanas.
Yes, indeed, you have been listening to Iftar with the Imam right here on 103.1 FM. And now that we are coming to the end of the program for this evening, I want to leave you with a parting piece of advice. Sometimes, when you go through the month of Ramadan, you are faced with tough situations. But I want to say to you that the tough situations, they lead to good things. The hard things eventually lead to good things. The seasons that test your strength, the situations that make you feel uncomfortable, and the decisions that require courage are indeed the very things that will lead towards true fulfillment. So if you are willing to walk through the fire and surrender to the uncertainty, you will eventually experience all of the beauty that awaits you on the other side. So stop running away from the tough situations. Stop running away from the hard things, because the hard things build the foundation for the good things to come throughout the course of the month of Ramadan. May Almighty Allah bless you this day and of course in the remaining days of the month of Ramadan. But as we are coming to the end of the program for this evening, I want to take the opportunity to say a very special thank you going out to the sponsors. The program this evening has been brought to you through the kind courtesies of Presidential Insurance Company Limited, Chief Brand Products Limited, the Price Club Supermarket, Top Gear Auto Part Services, and City Furniture Limited. I also want to say a very special salam and greetings of peace going out to you and yours, our listeners and viewers who have joined us in the program this evening. Thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you so much for your beautiful messages. May the blessings of the Almighty be with you. Of course, it was indeed an absolute honor to be in your company over the past half an hour or so. By all means, you can catch me tomorrow evening for another episode of Iftar with the Imam, and do catch me again tomorrow morning as we continue on with special Ramadan programming right here on 103.1 FM. I'm your host and brother in humanity, Imam Safraz Ghani, signing out for this evening. Until we meet again, please do have an extremely blessed day. Stay safe, stay in the mercy of the Almighty. Much love, and may the peace, blessings and mercies of Almighty Allah be with you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.